This day, 2000 years back, Jesus Christ was welcomed by the Jews with palm leaves being strewn and being waved on the air. This happened in the Old Testament also. It has been witnessed, it has been given, and the Old Testament witnesses that in Leviticus 23:40 and Nehemiah 8:15. Kings and conquerors were welcomed with palm leaves. Palm leaves being strewn before them, and leaves were shown in the air. All such things happened. Jesus was a king and he was a conqueror, and he was shown as a conqueror and a king. Yes, he was a king and conqueror. Moreover, he was shown this time as the supreme superstar of the world. Supreme superstar of the world. So Jesus Christ was such, but at the same time Jesus never showed himself to be of the expectation of the people. He did not show himself off at any time. Jesus Christ came down to the earth and he was living a life which nobody could live on the earth till date, to date. Nobody is able to live like that. Such a life he could live. And he was preaching in such a way that he could even catch or attract people or impact people in such a way that more than 3 billion people all over the world are following Jesus Christ. More than 3 billion people. No religion, even when you consider Christianity as a religion, no other religion has been in such a way to attract people like that. But never did he show himself off. He has done 5 things which I'm going to deal with today. What are those 5 things? He was conquering the world by these 5 characteristics or 5 elements that we could learn from the life that he lived out. What are they? He could conquer the world living this life. What way he lived? Jesus did not self-promote himself. Jesus never self-promote. Never did Jesus self-promote himself. What is that? What is that? Jesus never did self-promote himself. This is very important aspect of his life. Yes. Have you read John 10:14-15? I read that verse. After the people saw the sign Jesus performed, they began to say, surely this is the prophet who is to come into the world. Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king by force, withdrew again to a mountain by himself. Jesus was doing a lot of signs. He was proving himself without being known by anybody. He was proving himself, that is, not to prove himself, just to help the people. He was healing the people. He was healing the sick. He was redeeming people. He was preaching to the people. When he was preaching, people got healed of all such happened. This does not mean that he wanted to prove himself. It does mean that he wanted to help the people. That's all. He wanted to help the people. He helped the people. That's all. This happened. But his ministry is one ministry which he has promoted, and he is asking us to do. That you can find in Luke 10:37. He is asking one of the liars to do likewise. That is the thing that is urged to us Christians to do likewise. What is that? You do things as done by the Good Samaritan. What is that? You do and go likewise. That means you go and help the victims. This is a ministry recommended by Jesus Christ. This is the ministry that he did and he asked us to do. This is a ministry. But other things, he went to that extreme of healing the people. He touched the people, they got healed. He spoke to the people, they got healed. All such happened. But never did he asked the people to promote himself, and never did he promote himself. Now, this shows us that Jesus is able and he is capable of doing such things today also. That we have been witnessing. So many people have been witnessing. But at the same time, if they come on the stage and proclaim that somebody has done this and that, all such, this is nothing but fraudulence. You should not believe that Jesus did this and everybody has to do that. That is what is known as not promoting self. He did not self-promote. Nobody till date is able to do the things that Jesus Christ was capable of doing. Jesus Christ was able to do. Nobody else was able to do. Nobody else has been able to do that since the ascension of Jesus Christ. He went away, and nobody is able to do such things. But certain people, they claim to do that. They have done. Certain people have done. After his ascension, his disciples did. Other people also did. But nobody did self-promote themselves. Nobody self-promote himself. Nobody could do that. Nobody did self-promote himself as Jesus did. Nobody did. But here, Jesus is giving us a lesson that we should not do self-promotion. But we have been doing that. We have to have that belief. But at the same time, we should not be, carried away with misbelief, and we should not be carried away by the cheating done by certain people who believe, who masquerading preachers, masquerading Christians, masquerading pastors. They have been misleading people from what Jesus Christ has taught us. He did not self-promote himself. Today, the Palm Sunday, is being commemorated all over the world, telling us that Jesus was commemorated as a king and conqueror. What conqueror? He conquered the world. He conquered what people thought to do. That means they wanted to do certain things. If they could do that, they wanted to self-promote. They did it. But Jesus never self-promote. He was a different person. What is the problem in self-promoting? Jesus thought that is a problem in self-promoting. That's the reason he didn't want to self-promote himself. That is the first thing we have to learn today on this Palm Sunday. At least on this Palm Sunday 2022, we have to have this lesson that we should not self-promote. But at the same time, Jesus is capable, and he will give you a good life, and he can give you healing. He will make you whole. All such things will happen. And immediately you will ask, if he could do that, is it not necessary that I should go and proclaim that he has done it? No, it's not necessary. You are being whole. You are becoming whole will be proclaimed automatically. That happened. Nobody went to the stage and proclaimed that this person has done it. Jesus also himself did not do that, and he never let anybody do that. He said only one thing that we find in Luke 10:37. Go and do likewise. That is a ministry. Go and help the victims. That is an important ministry that he is urging us today to do. And second one, Jesus hid himself. He was slipping away from the people and went into the hills to hide himself. Whenever the people could find him to be forced to become a king, because the people were thinking that somebody would come and he will be preaching like this, and if he is believed the people to their expectation to be a king, they will force him to be a king like that. Jesus was believed to be such a person that he was expected of, and he has come here and they wanted him to become a king. So he did not want to become a king by their force. Lest they should do that, he slipped away from them. That you can find in the Bible, very clearly given. I read that. After the people saw the sign Jesus performed, they began to say, surely this is the prophet who is to come into the world. Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king by force, withdrew again to a mountain by himself. This you can find in John 10:14-15. So he didn't like them to take him and make him a king. But he was, this day, particular day, he was commemorated as a king. He was celebrated as a conqueror. Yes, what type of conqueror? He was letting the people do that. Why? But he never did it. But the people could do that, and the people were doing it. Why? He was a conqueror. What type of conqueror? He was conquering his own self. And he was conquering his own self, and he was letting the people know that he has conquered and the people should also conquer. Such a type of thing he has propagated us, and he is asking us to do. And Jesus took no shortcuts to come up. He is only one person in the world who could do, even within 3 years' time, 3.5 years' time, the most powerful impact in the world, the most powerful religion in the world, and the most, when you consider Christianity as a religion, it is being followed by more than 3 billion people. 3 billion people. No other religion has not even come nearer. Such a way he has impacted people. How? He never took any shortcuts to come up in life or preach or something like that. Even Satan, devil, came to him and tested him when he was on the earth. On the earth, he was like a man, and he was tested by the devil, the negative force. And the devil came and told Jesus that he would be made king-like. Or the Satan told Jesus that he would give all earth to him if he could do certain things. Worship the devil, jump from the hill, all such things were told by the devil. But Jesus never did. Jesus never did. Jesus never wanted to go away from the will of the Father. The will of the Father, and which were written in the Old Testament, were to be fulfilled, and Jesus wanted them to be fulfilled. Jesus never took any shortcut to come out of life, come up in life. And he never told us to do that. He is asking us to take all risks in life to come up. He is showing us that we should take all the risks to come up, all tasks to come up. We should take all the endeavors to come up, not shortcuts to come up. He never took any shortcut to come up in life. The most important aspect of his life, I am giving you 5 points or 5 elements of his life, or 5 characteristics of life. The 4th one is very important. That is, Jesus defied conventional wisdom. This is very important. Jesus is always telling, when he started preaching, when he has been preaching, when we find those preaching in the Bible, you could see this. You have heard, but I say unto you. You have heard all such, but I say unto you. You used to say. You could find that in Matthew 5:28 also. You heard that one person who is committing adultery, all such, he is explaining. And he is explaining about murder also. You would have heard about murder. What is murder? If somebody kills somebody, it's murder. It was not murder. And what is adultery? If somebody has some physical contact with some woman in an illegal way, that is adultery. But Jesus said, if you look on a woman to lust after her, you have committed adultery already with her in his heart. This is a revolutionary definition he gave. And murder also. Murder is something. It's not a physical killing. This is something being angry without any cause. That is also equivalent to murder. You would have heard about this way, and I tell you this way. You would have heard about this way, and I tell you this way. This he was telling us. You would have heard about such things, but I'm not telling that. I'm not repeating that. I'm telling you different thing, he used to say. And that he was very particular about that. He was not, I repeat the things which I explained earlier. He was very particular about not using any shortcuts. Before that, he was not revealing himself in a very showy way, as our preachers do. They are called as showy preachers, or masquerading preachers, or pastors. These people come up on the stages, and they have been doing all such things. Jesus is capable of healing you, making you whole. He will heal you in such a way that you will never have such a disease that you have been afflicted with. But remember, he doesn't like you to go to one of the preacher's stage and tell that the preacher has done it, maybe in the name of Jesus Christ. Jesus doesn't like that. And that he did. Would have read John 6:26. Mark 1:43 and 44. See that you don't tell this to anyone. To a man who got a healing from leprosy. He's telling this. See that you don't tell this to anyone. He's telling to a person who got a healing from his leprosy. Don't tell this to anybody. That's why in those days, leprosy was one of the most dangerous and mostly, the people were very aversion to that. They had a very great aversion to that. And Jesus healed of that. Jesus could do that healing. But at the same time, he said, see that don't tell to anyone. Such a thing he has done. Such a wonderful thing he has done. But at the same time, he is asking the leper who got healed of not to tell anybody that he got healed of. Such a person was Jesus Christ. So, that he did. And Jesus defied conventional wisdom. Conventional wisdom says, people said like this, I say like this. You have heard like this, I tell you like this. And there are 5 things which would make you clear understanding this. I tell you, Jesus gave ways to make you prosperous. You will become prosperous. But Jesus said, you give away some of what you have. You give away some of what you have. You have certain things. You just give away. Give away means you just distribute certain things. But at the same time, you will become prosperous. Jesus was not conventional. He was defying conventional wisdom, conventional methods. His method was different. He is asking us to do the opposite of what would come out of it. Jesus said, you will be prosperous. You will be prospering like anything. But at the same time, you give away what you have. You give away what you have means you will become pauper. But he is telling us that you will become prosperous. You will become prosperous. You will be prospering. Not paupering. You will become pauper. But Jesus is asking you to give away what you have. What you have, some of the things that you have. You give away, but you will become prosperous. You will become prosperous. You will become prosperous like. You will be prospering like anything. The same way, he is asking like this. To be a leader, you become a servant. To be a leader, you become a servant. To be a leader among people, you have to become a servant to others. That is what that is being witnessed on one day before Good Friday. On Thursday, you could find that Jesus could just wash the feet of the feet of his own disciples. All such happened, showing that he is washing the feet of his own disciples. That means that they should also go and wash the feet of others. You should become the servant. Becoming servant is the method of becoming a leader. Jesus' way. This is a methodology of Jesus. This is a way Jesus taught us. You will become a leader when you become a servant. The same way, Jesus is asking us to bless the enemies instead of cursing the enemies. He also did that when he was on the cross. He was able to ask the Father to forgive those people who were doing what not. Those people crucified him on the cross. They were bitter. They were splitting on him. They were battering him. All such. And Jesus was able to tell the Father, ask the Father to forgive those people. Asking the Father, pleading the Father to forgive those people, stating that they were doing what they were not able to know what they were doing. All such. He could do that. See, nobody in the world could do that. We cannot do that. Why? Because the people, when they were beaten, they will at least curse. That is automatic. That is the normal thing that would happen. If somebody does something against you, what will you do? You will curse. If you don't curse, at least you will think that the person who is doing some harm to you should perish. At least you will shout. If at all you don't do that, you will never do this, pleading the Father to forgive those people who were doing something against you. But Jesus could do that. Jesus was asking his own Father to forgive those people who were doing something against him. That's the reason he became a person, very powerful person, impacting the world. Within 3.5 years' time, no other religion in the world, if you consider Christianity as a religion, no other religion in the world has impacted people like that. 3 billion people all over the world have been following Jesus Christ. Till today, people have been coming to Christ because of his impact. He has done that. He's shown the way that way. So, nobody else has done it. That's the reason that the people have been coming to him. Nobody has impacted the world that way. So next one, persecution for his sake is actually a blessing, he said. You get persecuted, you will have the blessing. That means that you can get the persecution in any way, any dimension it may come to you. You will get the persecution, but you will have the blessing over here itself, in the world itself. That is the reason he came to the world. He was crucified on the cross so that we could have a life here and everlasting life hereafter. So 2 types of things have been promised to us. One is life and life hereafter. He was crucified on the cross so that we will have life and we would have life hereafter. He was crucified on the cross for our sins so that we will have life hereafter. That is everlasting life. He was crucified on the cross for our diseases so that we will have life here. Diseases means, it doesn't mean that only the physical ailments. No, it is ailments that we have with our neighbors, with our family, with our society, all such things. That is the reason he is asking us to undergo the persecution. If you undergo the persecution, you will have the blessing over here and hereafter. That's a different preaching. Again, he is asking us to do these things. That is also important thing. You do certain things in private and you will be rewarded publicly. That is the most powerful aspect in his life. He was doing that. I started this message with that element, that characteristic. He never showed himself off. He was not showing himself off. He was always not promoting himself. He was not self-promoting himself. He was very calm and quiet. He was doing privately things. The same way if you find in Matthew 6, you find, go and pray to the Father in private, and he will be rewarded publicly, so that everybody will know that you have prayed. You pray in private, in a private room. After shutting your door, the Father will reward you publicly. You do the alms that way, that you can find in Matthew 6. And the same way you fast. But the people today have been fasting in a different way. You do all these things, you will be blessed, and you will have a blessing, and you get any prosecution will come out of it, and you will overcome everything, and you will be blessed like anything, and will be living a good life that Jesus has given us on this earth, and we will be getting it after our death also. So he's asking us to do private things. And in the same way, you give alms to the poor. You you fast privately. You pray privately. Everything will be rewarded publicly, so that everybody will know that you have fasted, you have given alms, you have prayed. All such things will happen, right? If you give alms, you will be rewarded publicly. If you pray in private, you will be rewarded publicly, so that everybody will know that you have prayed. If you do fasts in private, you will be publicly rewarded, so that everybody will know that you have fasted and you have prayed, and such things have come to you because of your prayer and fasting, all such. So he is asking us to do everything in private, so that we will have. This is a wisdom. Old wisdom is something else, and new wisdom is something else, which was taught by Jesus Christ. That is why he became so powerful. He was able to impact the world that way, in a greater way, and greater impact has come to us. And that's the reason he was being what do we say? He was commemorated. He was celebrated as a king, conqueror. He conquered the world. Nobody could do that. He could do. So he was taken as a conqueror or a king, and his victory, his conquering, was celebrated in this particular day 2000 years back. And above all, we do remember one thing: why Jesus stands apart. Why Jesus stands apart? Why? It is not because of anything else except one thing, save one thing, that Jesus is alive today also. He is living today. I didn't go through any history. I never saw Jesus Christ. Never was given any revelation of his appearance before me. Never did I see Jesus. Not even in my dream, my vision, or elsewhere. But by faith, I believe Jesus. And that faith is working wonders in my life. Thereby I could understand that Jesus is alive. I need not go for history. I need not read any history to understand that Jesus was there, and whether Jesus lived 2000 years back or not. I could become a history myself. I could become myself a history to substantiate that Jesus is living today, because Jesus has been doing a lot of things which nobody else could do, and Jesus is doing a lot of things that I could not do, and Jesus is safeguarding me, giving me safety in such a way that nobody else could do, no government could do, no police could do, nobody else could do. Jesus Christ has been doing such things. Thereby he is proving himself that he is alive. He is still living. Apart from all historical evidences, apart from whatever is given elsewhere, apart from whatever is given even in the Bible, Jesus is proving himself through his words in the Bible. And when the biblical words which go into us, which make us prove, when we go into our room to pray as advocated in the Bible, Matthew 6:6. We pray to the Father in secret, and we will be rewarded publicly, so that everybody will know that we have already prayed. And that prayer, when we do, we receive the reward. When we receive the reward, we understand that Jesus is alive. Otherwise, we could not. If Jesus were not alive, we could not receive the reward. I have been receiving the reward. Thereby, I understand and I witness that Jesus is alive. So, Jesus is alive today. And he was commemorated as a king. He was commemorated as a conqueror. And that conqueror, 2,000 years back on this particular day, Palm Sunday, he was celebrated, commemorated as a king, is alive today. That is the reason I have been living. Not only I, the people who have that faith and the people who have been witnessing could tell you how they have seen Christ. It is not seen through the vision, because the Bible is asking us to have the faith and do that. When you do see Jesus Christ in your mind's eye, not through the physical eye, you will be witnessing a lot of things which you could not understand, and which the people could not do to you, and the people around you could not even understand if they don't have the faith that you have. Such a type of faith, if you start having, you will be witnessing that type of a thing, that Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive to me, not because I have read the history. I have read in the history that Jesus was there, not because Jesus has done so many things, not to the people those days. It is because Jesus has been doing a lot of things to me particularly. He has been doing a lot of things to me particularly. If he could do certain things particularly, which I could witness that he is alive, he is living. If he were not alive, he could not do that. I could not receive that. I could see him in the mind's eye, my mind's eye. So that is enough for me. That is a witness that he was God, and he was a son over here on the earth, as given the Bible. The Bible's directions that direct me to go and do, I have done. Thereby, I could witness and see that Jesus is alive today. Jesus is alive today because I have not seen him, not even in a dream, not even in the vision, because he would not appear before me as the people claim. It is a psychological, I have studied psychology. In the psychology, people may have that some type of illusion or something like that. In that they say, sometimes he could do that also. But these people, without having that experience, they say he has a seen. They have seen all such. Most of the things are not true. 99% of the people are telling lies. 1% of the people may see, because he is alive. He could come and show himself in a dream or in a vision or certain times in some way or other. But that is not required for me and people like me and people who follow the biblical teachings, because certain people who believe the biblical teaching also may have that type of thing, because Jesus went into the room and showed himself to the Thomas. He could do, but it is not done nowadays, 99%. But people have been misled. But you be led by the Bible, where we are given the directions, whereby we will be having that type of a thing, that Jesus is alive and he could do anything for me. I will be blessed. I will be having a good life here. I will be leading a good life. I will be a good man, and I can do certain things nobody else could overcome me. And Jesus Christ, as a conqueror, as a king, he conquered the world this way. Nobody else was able to conquer the world this way, and he could do that, and he would help me conquer the world the same way he has done. God bless you.